I've had some moderate success on YouTube. I'm not huge, but I've been able to do pretty well. How on earth did I get here, and why did I start, and what happened to get me to this point? YouTube for me has been an amazing blessing. It's not anything I had ever planned or expected, and where I have gotten to, honestly, has been amazing to me. It really started as kind of an accident and has really grown from there. A few years back, I was just preacher at church who used to work at theme parks. Love talking about theme parks because it is a very active hobby of mine. I have a great love for the Disney parks and for other theme parks like Six Flags and Cedar Fair and others like Silver Dollar City. Just love them. I would tend to drive my kids in particular a little bit batty because anytime we would meet somebody new, invariably I would end up bringing the conversation around to amusement parks. And as part of that, they got to hear the same stories from me working at Disney and Silver Dollar City over and over and over. The same jokes, the same little stunts, and all of that. It started to get on their nerves just a little bit. At the time, my son had also been doing a YouTube channel that he had kind of created, basically talking about theories about an animated show that was on. And it had actually done pretty well. He was pleased with it, starting to outgrow it a little bit, but it was actually doing enough that he was making money on it. Not a huge amount of money, but a little bit. And then as he got to college, he ran into a friend of his who literally paid his entire college bill off of YouTube videos about making Rubik's Cube and solving Rubik's Cubes and stuff, which was amazing. I mean, just blew us away because he'd had a couple videos that had done outstandingly well. My son in particular saw a win-win here. You know what, Dad? If we get you to talk to the camera and tell your stories there, maybe we don't have to hear them anymore. And so he in particular had started to prod me, not expecting YouTube to ever do anything. We knew that I had a fairly well-established community of connections on Facebook where I had about 1,000 friends, all of which are actually people I know in real life and have had real life contact with, whether through work, whether through church, whether through school, and various other things. They were all people I knew. And then I also had a number of connections through the roller coaster and Disney forums. I'd actually had run a forum with a couple thousand people on it, an email list. I was a very active member on several other communities. So there were several thousand people who knew who I was, knew what I had done, knew about me, and it gave me a built-in audience right away. So I thought, well, this could actually work pretty well. Let's record a few. Let's just kind of sit down and what am I going to do? And so my very first videos, if you look at them now, the quality on them is, oh my gosh, it's terrible. I recorded them in an echoey hall of my church and tried to funny and amusing and do this incredible, amusing, entertaining style, jump cuts. And it really wasn't me, but I was trying to be, something that would grab attention. And at the same time, tell these funny stories, especially ones I picked up at the park. What's it like to be under Main Street at Disney and the silly guests and stuff like that. Recorded 4 quick episodes. I think they were all like 5 minutes or less. Really just as kind of a sample test thing. I was using an old nickname that I had actually been using on the internet for several years, so it made it easy to figure out it was me if you knew who I was. And using that, created my YouTube channel. Actually went ahead and just thought, I don't expect this to ever pick up and take off. But just in case, because I've got a niche that there really isn't anybody else doing this at this point, this might actually work because there really weren't any former employees telling stories on YouTube. There are more now. There's some that have done extraordinarily well. Most didn't do that. So it was kind of a new thing in that regard. Who knows? Don't expect it to do great. If I get a couple thousand subscribers, that would be awesome. And so I actually created a fan page on Facebook before I actually uploaded my first video. Got that set up. Actually created a Patreon page at the very beginning. Again, I don't expect anybody to ever actually do this, but hey, just in case, it's there already, and that way I'm not trying to scramble from behind. And uploaded my first few videos, posted links to them on the forums I was active with, shared it on my Facebook page, and got a lot of positive feedback. Got some good technical criticism. Hey, that's good for a start. Try this, improve that, work on your sound quality, get out of that hallway, put something interesting behind you, and got some very good advice that way. And the best advice I got was, do it for fun, not money. If you're doing it for fun, you will keep doing it regardless of what happens financially. But if you're just doing it for money, you're going to quit doing it at some point. You're not going to do well because you're not doing it for you. You're trying to do it for other means. So that's the best piece of advice I can give anybody doing a YouTube channel. Don't expect to ever make money. 90+% of YouTubers don't. Actually, I think it's 85%. You're looking, 1 in 5 YouTubers actually make money, and most of them make just a minuscule amount. So if you're in it for money, you're in the wrong field. Do what you enjoy, do stuff that you have fun doing. And so I uploaded my first one, proceeded every week I was doing a new episode, uploading every Thursday, and I still do that. Every Thursday is my regular upload day, publishing at about 1 o'clock Central Time. And it began to pick up just in the forums I was on. Probably within a month or two, I was floating around that 1,000 subscriber mark, which meant, hey, okay, I'm doing pretty good. This was pretty much all people who knew me or who had seen the links on the posts in the forums I was on. That's a good start. Really pleased with that. Well, it began to catch on a little bit, and over the next few months, I probably grew to around 3,000 subscribers or so over the next 6 months, which I was very pleased with. I mean, that was more than I had ever expected. I was getting pretty good views, at least for me. I was getting a few hundred views a video, which was awesome. And then something happened that really caught me off guard. I had been doing my videos once a month talking about working in the parks. One video I posted called The Groups That Scared Cast Members hit YouTube's algorithms just right. It managed to have the keywords in there. It stirred up interest. It caught fire in some of the Disney groups and the ones that like knowing behind the scenes. It was about 2 months after I'd actually published the video, and all of a sudden it went nuts. And it just started going like crazy. And my channel started growing like crazy. And I went, in a matter of 2 or 3 months, from about 3,000 subscribers to 20,000 subscribers. Just crazy numbers. Was getting traffic. I love being able to respond to comments on my channel, but there were so many I couldn't keep up with it. A number of my other videos, just off of that one, began to pick up a lot of steam. And I had about 3 months there where I was just overwhelmed because I was still trying to respond to comments and I couldn't. It would have been a full-time job just responding to comments. If you want to know why your YouTubers on big channels don't reply, it's because they can't. It's just so much. I imagine trying to read 2,000 or 3,000 emails a day. Not going to happen. Not if you wanted to produce videos, at least. But that one video really kind of established things. I'd had a couple patrons before on my Patreon. I'll give you a secret. My very first patron on my Patreon, my very first paid supporter was me. I actually opened up a second patron account and then had that as my first paid patron. It's almost like a tip jar, where if you walk into a store and they got a tip jar there and it's empty, you don't want to put anything in it. But if you see money in there already, it's a suggestion. And, oh, okay. After I got 4 or 5 patrons, I then deleted myself. Didn't need that anymore. But it began to grow just from the one video. I'd had a couple people that signed on before that one went crazy as patrons. But then afterwards, I began to see it go up. And I began to see the finances come up because I was making money. And I was kind of like, oh my goodness. That one video, just the one video, it's now almost at 500,000 subscribers. And I have made, I believe, about $1,500 in total over 4 years' time from it. Most of that within those first couple months that it went crazy. And at that point, I kind of went, oh my goodness, I could actually do this for money. That would be amazing. It wouldn't be just, oh, hey, look nice, I can go out to dinner off my YouTube income. But it's something I could potentially actually turn into a part-time job, which with my work at the church and my schedule being crazy was perfect, because I'm in an area that doesn't have a lot of jobs and doesn't have industry. When you only have one car, which we did, that doesn't work real well. So it was like, I've got a job I can do from home that's flexible on my time. Let's do this. That's when it really became a part-time actual investment. I upgraded my equipment. That's where the money from that video went. Is it went and it bought a new camera, and it bought some lights, and it bought the green screen, and it all got invested right back into the channel. And that's actually where the vast majority of the money I get, whether it's from Patreon, whether it's from YouTube, it goes back into the channel in some form. Whether it's upgraded equipment, whether it is events, whether it's travel so I can go do videos for the channel. Very little of it actually goes into my pocket to do much of anything else. I use it to help do what I'm doing. And it's been a huge blessing that way. I don't make huge amounts of money. Between the Patreon and the YouTube, it floats between around $700 to $900 a month, typically. Somewhere right in there. And that's pretty good as far as I'm concerned for a gig that I've had a blast doing. It does take some time. It does take investment. It takes learning how to set up your lighting and background. And I've done a couple videos about some of those kinds of technical things. Even if my viewership dropped off, and just with ebb and flow and time, it does tend to do this. I'd love to see me hit 29,000, 30,000 subscribers. I've been kind of stalled there for a while. And I do have special stuff planned if I ever hit that. But even if I don't ever hit that, even if I just drop off and all of a sudden everybody watches, I'll still keep doing it because I love it and I have fun with it. And it's turned into more than I ever expected. I've got amazing viewers. My supporters are incredible. I've been blessed by some of them as well as other fans to go on some trips I never dreamed I would get to go on. And it's all been because people like you are watching and just going, yeah, for some reason I like this older dude telling us stories. Like I say, it blows me away that people love it, but I'm so incredibly grateful. So that's kind of the short version of how I started the channel, why I started it, how it took off, and how I end up doing what I'm doing. As far as the future goes, I have no intentions of stopping. Over the course of 4.5, 5 years, I've told a lot of the stories that I remember from working at the parks, but I'm always looking for new ways, looking for people who have worked at the parks and want to tell their stories, responding to videos about what it's like to work in the park, answering questions. So those are always good. I'm always looking for new opportunities to travel. This next year, I'm going to Pennsylvania, and I'm going to hit Hershey Park and Knoebels again, finally, after 20 years, and Kennywood. Hershey Park and Kennywood are brand new for me, and I can't wait. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can get money set aside. My daughter's going to Japan this next year for 6 months, and I'm really, really hoping to be able to go spend some time with her and go to Disney there. It's going to be an investment, and I'm working on trying to do what I can to set aside some money. We'll see if it happens or not. That one I'm hopeful, but I don't know how it's going to work with everything. We are looking at potentially doing a 2-month trip to Israel. That one through our church. But if I do that, I'll be recording videos in Israel for a couple months, and not just showing the historical and archaeological sites there, but there are amusement parks and stuff there. So be able to take you along with that, as well as, again, continue to tell my stories. So I have no intention of quitting anytime soon, and I hope that you'll be along for the ride. If you've got ideas and things you want to know about and hear about, I love to be able to do them. Send them to me. I can't do everything. I don't talk about things I don't know about. I have people that want to know about security. I've never done security, so it's hard for me to talk about things like that. But when I can, I absolutely will, and I'd be happy to share any insights. Don't hesitate to send those questions and comments and requests and stuff my way. I love to hear them, and they oftentimes end up being the source of inspiration for a video. Write down in the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for being part of this incredible journey that I've been on, and hey, can't wait to see where we end up in the future. Thanks so much, and God bless. Okay. Let me just dim that just a little bit. More. That's too dim. Alright. That actually looks pretty good. I wonder. Oh, there we go. Balanced light. Yes. Okay. New ring light. and finally got the setting right. That looks pretty good. Okay, anyways, this is the story of my channel. So don't hesitate to share them. Yeah, don't hesitate to share them. Don't hesitate to send those questions. Let me know anything you got. Just fill it in the description. Just write down in the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to know about my merchandise, contact information, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos, hit that button right there to subscribe. And if you want to see another one, well, I've got a great video for you right here. If you'd like to be like these wonderful people here too and support me financially on Patreon or YouTube, well, hit that little button right there. It'll even give you behind the scenes access and more perks. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless.